Hello there, my sweet friends. You are welcome back to another week on the xoxo podcast, a podcast created to help you build healthy daily habits and also to encourage you to get curious enough to go on the journey of becoming the person you were created to be. My name is Courage. I am the host on here, and I am just a bubble of a girl who is really interested in the woman's health and the woman's wellness, and I love this fact about my life right now. And I just really want to take out this few minutes to welcome you if it is your first time on here, and if you are not very familiar with the schedule on the podcast, if you're wondering why is it audio, I clicked on it and it said video. So every single month I get to do 2 episodes audio and 2 episodes video, and in the video episodes I get to bring a guest on. Usually they're a female who is making impact in their community. They get to share their stories with us. So if you're interested in watching some of those episodes, go check them out on YouTube, and Spotify also gives you an option to watch the video episodes. But I'm excited at just having you guys on here. Excited about our next event on February the 8th. We're gathering for a Galentine's meetup. I'm having some of my sisters come and share with us about mental health, building confidence, and building your personal brand. Also, we're going to talk about fitness, journaling. We're going to talk about singleness and marriage. I'm looking forward to that part, and just everything in between. So if you haven't registered, there's a link in the description of this episode, or you can check out our Instagram, get to find out all about the event, and I'd love to see you there if you're in Dubai. But I'm excited for us to get to talk about our topic of today, because it is one that I can really closely relate to. So if you have ever felt like drained, like you're running on empty no matter what you do, you might actually be experiencing burnout. And trust me, I just want to let you know that you are not alone. And that's why today we will be diving deep into what burnout is, how it silently creeps into your life, and most importantly, how to break free from it and reclaim your energy, reclaim your motivation, and your passion for life back. I have a very personal connection to this particular topic because I've been there myself. I have felt overwhelmed, exhausted, and detached from everything that I love. And I know that burnout can make you feel stuck. It can make you feel hopeless and like there's no way out. But actually there's good news, because it doesn't have to stay that way. So we will talk about how to recognize burnout, the science behind it, which is my favorite part actually, and how you can actually overcome it and come out on the other side even stronger. There's something that my pastor said to me one time, because he asked me there was this testimony he was telling me to share. Not really a big testimony to share, but something had happened to me, and I was like, no, it's not a big deal. It happened, and I came out on the other side, and it was like, it's a big deal. Never say that about your testimony. It's a big deal. It might not look big for someone else. Someone might just be like, oh, that's a little thing they went through, but to you it's a big thing, because God taught you something and it transformed your entire life. And so our stories are so important. Our testimonies are so important. That thing that you think is small is so important. So put some weight on it. I'm just trying to say that me coming out on the other side, I can see how beautiful the light at the end of the tunnel is. So if you're currently in this place, I want to let you know that there's peace on the other side, and there's a better you on the other side. And as usual, our audio episodes are usually divided into chapters. So we're just going to hop over to chapter 1, which is all things burnout. So what is burnout? First of all, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, which is caused by prolonged stress and overwork. And it usually happens when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet the constant demands placed on you. And sometimes you are the one who places these demands on yourself. So over time, this actually leads to feelings of detachment from the things that you care about, and a lack of accomplishment in both your personal and your professional life. So one thing I want to make it clear here is burnout is not just a feeling of tiredness. So many people, all of us, we usually equate it to tiredness, or we just think it is tiredness. But actually burnout is a result of your body and your mind working at full capacity without proper rest or recovery. I'm going to give you guys a few symptoms here because burnout can actually manifest in several ways, and it's important for you to recognize the symptoms early so that you can watch out for them. I broke them down into emotional symptoms, physical symptoms, and behavioral symptoms. So when it comes to your emotional symptoms, you might feel drained, frustrated, or detached, and you might even be struggling to find joy in the things that you once loved. I've been there before where some of my hobbies were not giving me joy anymore, and I was constantly mad at everything and at everyone. And then we have some physical symptoms like constant fatigue, frequent headaches, or changes in your sleep pattern. Your sleep will be one of the most affected things when you have started experiencing signs of burnout. And the last one, which is behavioral symptoms, is like increased procrastination, you have withdrawal from social interactions, or even difficulty concentrating and getting work done. So the key here is that burnout is not just about being tired. It's about feeling completely overwhelmed and disconnected from your energy and purpose. I think if you are getting around, what I'm trying to pass on to you is that it's not always about, oh, I'm just tired. Are you really just tired, or are you overwhelmed? Are you really just tired, or are you feeling disconnected or feeling drained for some of the things that you actually used to, get replenishment from? So those are just things that you should be thinking about. And I think it's so important for us to talk about this, because I realize that many people who go through burnout, they equate it to tiredness, or they just push it under the rug because they don't hear so many other people talking about it. And you often feel isolated, and you often feel alone, and you also feel a certain kind of shame around it. But this pressure that we have to push through and keep going when we are burnout, that's actually very detrimental to our health, because burnout is not a sign of weakness. It is a natural response to prolonged stress. So acknowledging it is the first step in order for you to regain yourself back and regain control over the areas that you can control in your life. And moving on to chapter 2, which is all about the science behind burnout. And I broke this down into a few, I think maybe 4 or 5, I think 4. But the first one is what happens to your brain during burnout. So when you actually experience prolonged stress, your brain's stress response systems are constantly activated, and the HPA axis is constantly triggered, and it releases cortisol, and cortisol is like your body's main stress hormone. So even though cortisol is very useful for like short bursts to help us deal with immediate stress, prolonged exposure to high cortisol levels can lead to changes in your brain. Now, I don't know if you guys actually listened to the episode that I had with Dr. Tony. It's a video episode, so if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to go watch it. But I shared there how I had, come across this research that was done that shows that an enormous amount of pain can actually change the shape and the structure of your heart. So the more pain you experience, it's changing your heart, like the shape of your heart. Your heart could either be shrinking smaller or getting bigger, and you never know what other health challenges that could produce for you. So it's very important for you to pay attention to some of these things. And the next thing is the prefrontal cortex. So this is the part that is responsible for your concentration, your decision making, and your emotional regulation. All of this becomes very less active when you are under prolonged stress, and this can make it harder for you to focus and think clearly. And my favorite one, just because the name sounds very weird, is the hippocampus. And this actually is a part of our brain that helps us to process emotions and memories. So during chronic stress, this can actually shrink, which will lead to difficulties in you remembering things and managing your emotions. Those brain fogs that you have, there's a science behind it. And my personal favorite, which is the amygdala, which is just funny because I just think the name is just funny. It's just a weird name. And I love it when Pastor Greg Rochelle usually says the name, because I'm like, what's he doing? He's killing it. Like, I'm killing it. But actually, this is what processes fear and our emotional responses. So this will become overreactive instead, which would make us prone to anxiety and stress. So burnout actually has an impact on our mental health. So it is important for you to note that it can feel very similar to depression, because both can cause emotional numbness, irritability, and lack of motivation. But the thing with burnout is, or the difference is, that burnout is usually is triggered by external factors like maybe your work or social pressures or personal demands. But depression has a deeper meaning, so it makes it more complex with all these internal causes. So but the thing is, both burnout and depression can disrupt your neurotransmitters. I've been like killing myself with neurons lately, but like, yeah, it does disrupt your neurotransmitters like, dopamine, serotonin, making it very hard for you to feel joy and satisfaction in anything. So yes, burnout can be overwhelming and it can lead to mental crisis, but it is a very distinct condition that requires different approaches for recovery, because usually people just like say no, it's depression, but it's not depression. You're experiencing burnout is very different. They are similar, they can feel this almost the same way, but they're different. It's also different with anxiety. So there are different approaches for you to go about with these things when you start noticing them. And the next chapter is, why do we get burnout? I really wanted to give you guys this one because I just think we need as much knowledge that we can get around this particular topic. So some of the main causes of why we get burnout is chronic stress. Let me tell you guys, the amount of stress in the 21st century, I don't have words for it yet, but the most common cause for burnout is long-term stress, whether it's from your work, your personal life, or you trying to meet expectations. Those things, they take a toll on you when they're constantly happening. And another thing is lack of control, which we can never really have, to be honest. You can only control the things that, there's this quote that I see everywhere that like, pay attention or focus on the things that are within your control, and the things out of your control, just pray about it and let it be for God. But yes, there are some things that you can't take control of, and there are some things that only God can. So lack of control can cause burnout actually. So when you feel like you have no control over your life, your workload, your personal life, those things can leave you feeling really helpless and really disconnected. And another thing that I just think that we all just need to heal from is perfectionism. That's another cause for burnout, because sometimes we set this unrealistic high standards for ourselves, and that can actually lead to burnout because you're pressuring yourself to be perfect, and that can actually drain your energy and cause you to neglect your own needs. So please don't do that. Let's just kill perfectionism in 2025. Just do whatever you can do with what you have, my friends. Don't kill yourself, and it's never gonna be as perfect as you want it to be, but you just need to do the things that you need to do, right? And another one, which is so huge, especially in our day and age, is work-life imbalance. So you not making enough time to rest, and even just having personal activities outside of your work can actually quickly lead you to burnout. So if maybe your work and your responsibilities take up most of your time, it will be very difficult for you to recharge and for you to maintain balance. So I really encourage you guys to have this beautiful workflow. Have hobbies that rejuvenate you, that fill you up, make you laugh, and all those things. Go for cycling, join a gym class, whatever it is. Just have hobbies outside of your work. It will really help you to have this life that you can love and enjoy. So I've seen so many people experience burnout from corporate and also in their personal life, because they're trying to juggle so many responsibilities at the same time. Maybe they're working long hours. I've worked long hours, like a lot, and I had to put my leg down at some point, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we do that, we ignore our health, and we just like give everything to our jobs, to people. We want to make everyone happy, we want to please everyone. You want everyone to be happy, and then you're just like, you're not God. Okay, let God take care of his people. So sometimes when you do all of this, you only end up exhausted and frustrated, and you're feeling stuck. So if you've ever just found yourself in this cycle, there is a way out. You're not alone. But I just want to let you know that you can start taking steps to actually overcome this. And I just want to give you guys a few ways for you to recognize burnout very early. So some early symptoms is like you guys know I have this foundation that I always set for you guys. I believe that we have 3 foundations in our lives: our physical, our mental, and our spiritual. So physically, you can start to recognize burnout when you're constantly tired, you struggle with your sleep, or you are getting frequent headaches. Your body is telling you something. Now, if there's something that I know, is that all of us, we often neglect our bodies. We neglect the signs that our body gives us, those feelings that it gives us. And I know that in the entire world right now, they say don't listen to your feelings are going to lead you somewhere else. There's a certain amount of truth in that, but also you have to move with wisdom when it comes to your feelings. Is this a feeling that I should react to, or is this a feeling that I should not react to? You have to be able to have that deep connection with yourself and that wisdom to be able to know what to react to and what not to react to. One thing that I've also learned is that our bodies is one way that God also talks to us. So if you neglect your body and God is trying to tell you something by maybe that uncomfortable feeling that you have, or whatever is going on with you, sometimes you walk into a place and you even feel a certain kind of pain, maybe in your chest, in your back, in your body, or when you've been walking too much, your body is telling you something is off. So pay attention to it. Your body is not to be neglected. It's a vessel. It's a beautiful vessel. It's what is going to help you to live the life that you've been called to live and even do the things that you want to do. So why are you not paying attention to your body? And the next thing is your emotional, with your emotions, like there is this feeling of you feeling disconnected, you're indifferent or even apathetic. My goodness, that one is a big one. You're apathetic towards things you once loved. That is such a big red flag. When you feel that way, things that used to concern you, you're like, I don't care anymore. Like that is like your very big sign to be like, okay, maybe something is wrong, maybe I should check in on this. And the other one is you having difficulty focusing. We've talked about procrastination or avoiding social interactions. These are all signs that you're becoming overwhelmed. So I want us to do a little bit of a self-check as we go into this episode, because we are almost getting to the end. But a little self-check. I want you to ask yourself, do you feel emotionally drained? Are you finding it hard to get excited about things? Do you have more bad days than good days? And if the answer is yes, I want you to know that it's time for you to pay attention to your life. So a very big thing here is early detection matters when it comes to burnout. If you can catch it as early as possible, it will save you a lot of stress, baby girl. It will save you a lot of things, because I'm just grateful that now we have so much knowledge and so much content on this. Like, I wish I knew some of these things before, but now we know better, so now we do better. But as much information as you can get about this, if maybe you're not here right now, maybe in the future you're going to need all of this, but learn as much as you can about the things that you think you need to learn about, so catching burnout early means that you can actually put strategies in place before it takes over your life. Ignoring the signs can actually lead to physical exhaustion. It can lead to anxiety and even depression. So it's very vital for you to recognize the symptoms and then start addressing them as soon as possible. And you guys know I'm not going to say all of this and leave you guys without a way to overcome burnout. And that is our next chapter. So the first one, which is I've talked about, is a very big one, is for you to acknowledge it. The first step in overcoming burnout is acknowledging that you're experiencing it, because sometimes we have this like mentality of like, oh no, that can't be me, I can't go through that. I've always said never say never, because I think you're saying, oh, that could never be me, it could definitely be you in the next blink of an eye. So acknowledge it. It's not a weakness, okay? Denying it or even pushing through will only make things worse in the long run. I've been there. Like, I didn't even know that was what I was experiencing, so I was just trying to get over it. But it wasn't going away. So I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I need to pay attention to. So the second one is for you to set boundaries. Learning to say no and setting clear boundaries at work and in your personal life is very crucial for recovery and for you to live this whole healthy life. So the thing that I know is that if you are constantly saying yes to everything, you're gonna be burnt out. So I encourage you to protect your time and energy by communicating your limits. Say, I cannot do it. And like I said again, move with wisdom. There are times that you would need to push a little bit, sacrifice a little bit, maybe for a loved one or whatever it is. But if you're doing all of that, make sure that you already have your foundation in place and some non-negotiables, like a little bit of sleep, eating healthy, just doing some things that will help you feel grounded while you are sacrificing a little bit here and there for the things that need your attention. So it's okay for you sometimes to move with wisdom in that, but then actually always check in with yourself first before you offer a yes. And it's okay for you to say, please let me think about this, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. There's so many ways. And one thing that I know is that your people will get it. And the people that don't get it, well, you can't really do much about that, but then you just know that, those are not the people. The third thing is to prioritize self-care. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. I've told you guys these are my foundations for life: mental, physical, and emotional health. And this could include you getting enough sleep, eating nutritious food, moving your body regularly, trying mindfulness. We've talked about mindfulness on the podcast, journaling, talking to a therapist, talking to an adult woman in your life, spending time with loved ones, or you just simply doing the things that you enjoy without any pressure, going for cycling, going for hiking, whatever it is that just sparks joy in your heart. And another thing is for you to delegate and ask for help. This works well, especially in the corporate space, but also in your personal life. It's okay for you to say, hey sis, I can't really do the dishes right now, can you help me? I'm feeling tired, can you help me with the laundry? Ask for help. You're not gonna die. It's fine. Even at work, delegate, give some people to help you out. So it's okay to ask for support from friends, family, co-workers. Delegating your tasks and your responsibilities is very essential for relieving the pressure on you. You don't have to do everything on your own. I'm telling you, you don't have to do everything on your own. Repeat that to yourself so many times, as much as possible. I don't have to do everything on my own. There's always so much help available to us within our friend groups, in our families. You just need to reach out to someone. That's the first step. And the last one that I'll give you guys is to reconnect with your purpose. Burnout actually often happens when you lose sight of why you are doing what you're doing. So the good thing for you to do is to reconnect with the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's in your career, your hobbies, your personal goals. I just want you to look into finding meaning in what you do. That can actually help to reignite your passion and your zeal and your fire that you've lost. And you guys know we are leading up to an event that talks all about wellness. I'm actually going to talk about wellness for a little bit here as we round off. But actually, living in wellness after burnout is all about building resilience. So this means that you're adopting habits that reduces stress, you're practicing mindfulness, and creating a sustainable routine that includes rest. I've told you guys, rest, sleep, Sabbath, whatever you call it, however that looks, even though all of them are not the same thing, but then rest is very important for you. And you finding a beautiful routine is also very important for you to help you live a life that is healthy, and also surround yourself with support. Cultivate supportive relationships that respect your boundaries. Surround yourself also with people who lift you up and not drain you. I'm just going to give you guys this I don't think it's funny, but I think it's so good. Like, I have this colleague, so she decided she needed a new friend group. Okay, so she's been trying out new things. She's been going for like activities. She joined a lot of meetup groups and all these things. So she's been meeting a lot of new girls. And she was showing me the other day in the WhatsApp group how all of them have businesses, some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are doing so well in their careers and in their jobs, and she feels very encouraged. She's like, since she started sitting with those girls, she feels like she wants to start a business. I was also teaching her the other day about some podcasting tools that I use, because she wants to start a podcast, she wants to do some businesses, she just wants to vlog, she wants to do a lot of things, and I was so happy for her. And she was like, sitting around these women have made me I'm so encouraged. I'm because it's true, you are the sum total of the 10 people you hang around. So she was like, I feel like I want to do more with my life, and I also feel like there's something better for me out there, and I was so happy about that. So surround yourself with support, also people that notice when maybe you're looking overwhelmed, you're not looking good. I remember this time in my life when I was getting sick and I wasn't telling anyone, and I remember one of the closest people to me at the time, like, I was avoiding him because I knew he would notice that I was losing a lot of weight. And I used to have this mask that I would wear on because I had this really bad black spots just on my cheek as a result of the health issues that I was going through. So my cheeks were all bruised, black and whatever. So and this was in 2021, I think 2022. So I remember that day, for some reason, they caught up with me, and then I ran away. Not ran away, but then I said hi, and then I left. And then I remember after like 2 or 3 hours, he called me and he was like, Courage, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. He was like, you're losing weight and you don't look okay, you don't look as fresh as you used to. Then I was like, you noticed that? And then he said, yeah, I noticed. And then I told him all about it, and he was like, oh my god, why didn't you say anything? And I was like, I didn't want to bother you, because I know. So anyways, I'm just saying, like, it's good for you to have people who notice and they go about it in the right way. That's also a very big thing. And also another thing that I just want to leave you with, in order for you to live in wellness, especially as you're recovering from burnout or you're noticing burnout or anything, is for you to stay consistent with your check-in sessions. I currently check in with myself every single day now. I used to do it every single week, like I'll take stock of my week, but life has been lifing because we're growing up, we're putting on big girl pants, so we need to check in with ourselves every single day. How did I feel when this person said that? How did I feel when I said this action that I took today? How was it? This decision I made at work, this career move that I made, what am I seeing in the future with my personal life? How is my communication with my family, with my friends, whatever that is? So check in with yourself regularly. Make sure that you are still maintaining boundaries. That's very important, because some days you're gonna falter, you're gonna tweak a little bit. You have to check in with yourself. Are my values still aligning? Do I still know my worth? You have to check in with yourself from time to time, and just make sure that you're setting out time to rest. Have do nothing days, so that burnout doesn't sneak up on you again and again and again, because it can happen. Total in my life, not in my life, because maybe it used to happen before and I don't know, but then I would say when I started having like an idea of it and then started looking at it, I've currently gone through, I would say, 4 phases of burnout. I remember in the space of 3 years, I had 2 burnouts, one from work, like all of them were from work. The second one led me to the hospital. The third burnout was just like I was burned out and I couldn't do anything about it at that point anymore. And then the third burnout was the one that I actually, the last burnout, I think the fourth one, was the one that I thought would actually take me out. When you go through so much hardship, because my mind was changing, my frontal lobe was generating, it was like fully forming, my beliefs were changing, my perspectives was changing, things that used to matter to me didn't matter to me anymore. I wasn't paying attention to everything. You just doubt your existence. You have all these conversations with God, you fight with God at some point, and then you just like doubt your how God created you, why he even created you the way he created you. And then you're struggling with your work-life balance, you're struggling with your personal life, with your relationship with like God, his people, and all these things. And I thought this was like the end of me. I am probably going to heaven to meet the Lord right now. But the beautiful thing is, God found me. He reached out and then he was just like, I'll help you out, you just need to turn to me. And then he started telling me, okay, you need some boundaries here, you've been saying yes too much here, you need to put it down. He was like, okay, these environments are not healthy for you, okay, put it down. These people are not understanding you at all, and you are just killing yourself here trying to just like make everything work. It's not gonna happen. And then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And then just getting to know myself, the things that I like, the things that I don't like, the things that I'll accept and the things that I won't accept. Went through so many things in relationships and family where I had to set some really healthy boundaries and just like know my worth, be intentional with my time, and also just pay attention, have my hobbies. I rest at a proper time, I eat at a proper time. Still struggling with the food aspect. I eat healthy as much as I can, but I cannot really promise that I'm eating healthy all the time. But one thing I know that I'm doing is journaling, moving my body. I've been going for amazing walks. I love those so much. I have turned into a prayer walk. So I pray and I walk. And just like I have non-negotiables, water, I do my jug of water every single day, probably maybe too much water, and things that refer my physical health, my mental health. I make sure that I am really investing in my mind. That is something that I'm doing. I can say that I am really intentional about learning about my brain, learning about why I think the way I think, why I see life the way I see life, why I used to accept some things and why it wasn't okay for me to even accept those things, and just like what I would not accept now, and what I thought about myself that was attracting those really, really horrible situations in my life. So like you just get to learn and you just change. I feel like I'm just like a different human being. I was even talking to my mother the other day. She was like, I don't recognize you. They say I've been whitewashed in my family, because I'm an African, and they're like, this one is like she's been whitewashed, she's a white now right now. But anyways, guys, I just want to let's do a little recap, So we've talked about burnout. We know that it's real, but we know that with the right tools and the right mindset, you can actually overcome it and prevent it from taking over your life, because it's going to actually take over your life, but you have to give it that power. So I really encourage you not to give it that power, and also to recognize the signs very early. Set boundaries, focus on self-care. Remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about taking care of yourself so that you can live a healthier and more balanced life. And my encouragement to you is that if you are dealing with burnout right now, it's okay for you to pause. It's not a failure. It's a sign that your body and your mind needs rest. So by taking care of yourself now, you can actually come back stronger and more fulfilled. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit, guys. So I'm giving you guys a call to action is that I would love to hear from you. I want to actually know if you've actually experienced a burnout. Write it down in the comment section. If you're on Spotify, if you're on YouTube, there is a box there for you to write on. And I want to know what steps you did to actually overcome it. So share your thoughts with me or on social media, tag the podcast, and so we can all grow and learn from each other. So guys, burnout is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a signal that you have been strong for too long. It is okay to pause. It is okay to heal and to come back better and stronger. My friends, I will see you guys. If you are in Dubai, meet us on the 8th of February. We are having a Pink Valentine's. This is an event that is after my heart, and I just believe that we're going to be learning, we're going to be growing, we're going to be interceding for each other, we're going to take up space for each other, and we're going to support each other. Okay, so if you haven't registered, link is in the description of this video or this episode, and you can just head over to Instagram and talk with us there. Someone is there replying to people because I cannot die. We have to delegate. We have to really ask for help and support. Okay, so I am looking forward to seeing you guys again next week. We're having our video episode, and I'll catch you guys there. Have a beautiful January, friends. Bye.